property as a rental.
Emva kwalowo nyaka ke 1993 sasebenzisa leso sakhiwo njengendawo nje yokuqashisa.
Yes, can you just describe the property in terms of rooms? How does the property look like?
The property has a main house which has 6 rooms, that is 5 rooms and a kitchen, and then there's 2 outside rooms. One of them was a garage before.
Chike le sakhiwo lesike sinamagumbi awu6 ngamanye amazwi ke kulamagumbi awu6 elilodwa lalamagumbi ikhishi kanti ke ngaphandle kukhona amagumbi awu2 room engaphandle kanti ke kulamagumbi awu2 enye yalamagumbi bekuyi garage phambilini.
Is it correct that in mid-January 2015, a certain incident occurred regarding the rental of the property?
Yes, indeed. In January 2015, I was called by a caretaker to say there's people who are interested in a room that was empty at that point.
Kanti ke kukhona isigameko esenzeka ngo January 2015 kukhona lona ke onakekela isakhiwo khona lapha icaretaker wangifonela ke okanye wangibiza mayelana ke nokuqashiswa ke kwegumbi lapho.
Yes.
And advised me that those people were around for me to meet.
Wase ke uyangitshela ukuthi labo bantu sebekhona bafisa ukuthi bazohlangana nami.
Yes. And indeed we met outside on the pavement.
Ngempela sasiyahlangana ke ngaphandle kwesakhiwo khona laphayana kwi pavement
at the gate.
Sengasho nje egate.
Where?
In front of the property.
Ngaphambi kwalesakhiwo.
Yes, just for record purposes, just state the exact location where you met.
81 Persimmon Street, Malvern.
Shuti ke ileyona iyo ke le ndawo esahlangana kuyo i81 Persimmon Street eMalvern.
Need for them to move in.
Sasibona ukuze bakwazi ukuthi bayongena kuleso sakhiwo.
And who were these people?
It was a couple.
Abantu enkhuluma ngabo ke kungabantu abahamba bobabili. The hand of accused number 3 is up, my lord.
Yeah, here, after this witness has given evidence, keep that question for your counsel.
Hello?
That's not the procedure, sir.
Akusiyona indlela okusetshenzwa ngayo mfowethu ne. Awulinde kancane uzokwazi ukuthi ukhulume nommeli wakho. Ungakhohlwa leyo nto obufuna ukuyisho. Yazwakala bhuti. Thank you, Lordship.
Yes, you said it was a couple. Yes, who were they?
At that point, I didn't know who they were.
Ngaleso sikhathi ke labantu ababini bengabazi ukuthi obani njengoba ngithi kuyicouple okanye abantu abahamba bobabili.
Yes, but after meeting them, did you establish just who they were?
We didn't. We just established that they needed a room and that they were going to stay in that room.
Besingakazi ukuthi ke obani labantu konke sikwaziyo thina ke okanye sakwazi ngaleso sikhathi ukuthi abantu abadinga ke indawo yokuhlala.
And is there any of those persons present in court today?
Yes, indeed, there is.
Yebo ngempela lo muntu ke okanye omnye walabo bantu ukhona khona la enkantolo.
Who is it?
As a gentleman that has just recently lifted his hand.
Yilo mlisa ke osanda ukuphakamisa isandla sakhe nje khona la enkantolo.
Do you remember his name?
I didn't at the time. I did later when I had to testify. Is Mr. Mnu.
Ngaleso sikhathi ke sokuhlangana kwami naye bengingamazi igama lakhe bengingalazi kodwa ke ngithe mase kumele ngize ngizothula ubufakazi la enkantolo ngase ngiyathola ke ukuthi ungu Mr Mncube.
Yes, we'll come back to this point. Yes. Now, who was with him?
It was a lady, an African lady. It was a couple.
Kwakhona ke umuntu wesimame abehamba naye umuntu omnyama ngamanye amazwi.
Yes.
We agreed terms. I told them how much we needed.
Savumelana ke ukuthi imigomo ithini ngabatshela ukuthi sizodinga malini ke baqashisela.
Now, with whom did you negotiate?
The man was the one who was speaking. The lady was quiet, but she was there.
Nanoma ke lo wesimame bekhona khona lapha yana umuntu bengixoxisana naye okanye okuyena obekhuluma kwaba ilomlisa.
Yes, just refer to him by his surname just to avoid confusion.
Mr.
Yes.
Yebo uthi ngikhuluma ngaye ubaba uMncube.
And what were the terms of the agreement?
The terms were that there was indeed a room that was empty.
Imigomo kwaba yona ke leyo.
That was available.
Isiqiniseko sokuthi igumbi lalikhona futhi ke lalikhona ukuthi lingasetshenziswa.
But I did say to them that since it was the middle of the month, it didn't make sense to me that they should move in at that point.
Ngasho ke kubo ukuthi ngoba ke sasemaphakathini wenyanga ngathi bona ke akwenza umqondo ukuthi bangavele bangene ngaleso sikhathi.
That they would move in at the beginning of February.
Nokuthi ke bazocela ukungena ngaphakathi okanye bathuthele ngaphakathi kulelo gumbi makucala ke uFebruary.
Just a minute. If you say it was in the middle of the month, which month and which year?
It was around the 15th or so of January. I'm not quite sure, but it was mid-month.
Which year?
2015.
Futhi ke mangethi beku ngaphakathi nje besemaphakathini wenyanga bengaba khona lapho nge-15 zika January 2015. Anginaso ke isiqiniseko kahle kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi bekusenje emaphakathini wenyanga.
This agreement that you're referring to, was it in writing? Was it verbal?
It was verbal. It wasn't in writing at all.
Kanti ke ukuvumelana kwethu ke kwaba ukuvumelana okomlomo azange sibhale lutho phansi.
And can you remember what the amount of the rental was?
If I recall, it was around 1,600 rands per month.
Uma ke mangikhumbula kahle ke mangaphosisi imali befanele ukuthi azoyikhokhela yerent beku 1,600 rand ngenyanga. 1,600 rand ngenyanga.
Yes, you may proceed.
Agreement that they were not going to move in at that point.
Kanti ke ngase sengikholelwa ukuthi sasesivumelene nokuthi ke ngeke baze bakwazi ukuthi bangene ngaleso sikhathi ngakulelo gumbi elalikhona.
And often we would speak to people and they wouldn't come back, so it was nothing unusual.
Kanti ke sivamsileke ukuthi sikhulume nabantu kube nokuvumelana kuthizeke ukuthi mhlambe bazongena kodwa uthola ukuthi akukho nje okwenzakalayo into esijwayeleke leyo.
You say you're in front of the property as you were discussing. Did you perhaps show them the room?
I didn't show them the room.
Ngoba besilapho khona lapha yana kuleso sakhiwo azange ke ngeke ngibabonise igumbi lele ngangikhuluma ngalo.
Yes.
But I knew that they had been to the room because my caretaker told me the people were interested in the room.
Kodwa bese sengikwazi lokho ukuthi bake balibona lelo gumbi ngoba lona ukhetheke okanye obheke indawo khona laphana wangitshela ukuthi labo bantu abebedinga ke igumbi okanye indawo yokuhlala
Yes.
bahamba baya khona bayolibona lelo gumbi.
Yes, you established that they had seen the room, yes?
Yes. Then, not too long thereafter, a day or two later, the caretaker informed me that these people.
Caretaker made a report to you, is that correct?
Yeah, caretaker reported to me.
Mhlambe usuku okanye insuku eziwu2 emva kwalokho kwaba ukuthi ukhetheka uyakwazi ukuthi angilethe report ethize.
Now, what did you do as a result of this report of the caretaker?
He indicated that this
It's fine, you don't need to disclose the content. What did you do as a result of that report?
I gave them the go-ahead and I collected the rent.
Ngase ke emva kokuthi ngisithole leso sibikezelo siqhamuka kulona ukhetheka ngabavumela ukuthi bangangena kuleso sakhiwo ngase ke ngithatha nemali yerent kubona.
They paid the full rent for January.
Bakhokhela ke imali ephelele kaJanuary.
But did you go to the premises to meet with them?
No, I went to take the money at the gate again. They moved in because they already had their things.
Yeah.
Manje azange ngiye kangaka ukuthi ngiyohlangana nabo ke kulelo gumbi kodwa ke ngaya khona lapha negate ukuthi ngiyothatha imali kubona ngoba bese bengenile usho ukuthi impahla zabo bese sebeyifakile.
So you received a report from the caretaker, sorry.
Sorry, there's a correction there.
They hadn't put their goods in yet, but they had already discussed that with the caretaker.
Oh, my apologies, my lord. This was not my fault. Uthi ke bebengakaze ba ngaleso sikhathi bebengakafaki impahla zabo ngaphakathi kulelo gumbi kodwa ke amahlelo ebesenziwe phakathi kwabo nalona ke ukhetheka.
Can I also add that our practice was that people would come into the room would be empty. The rooms were kept empty, and when somebody left, we would clean, and somebody else would move into a clean, empty room. Only black points and the paint on the wall remained.
Manje ke indlela esivamise ukusebenza ngakhona ke ile ukuthi igumbi uma ngabe lingenamuntu ngaphakathi seli cleaniwe ke kanjalo ake sithi umuntu ke wangena ngaphakathi wasuyaphuma lelo gumbi liyo cleanwa amabonda ke ayawashwa okanye ayaenzwa ukuthi abe ahlengeke futhi izinto mhlambe ezisalayo yiwo ama plug points kanjalo.
Yes. Just, for the sake of sequence, now after receiving this report from your caretaker, what did you do?
I allowed them in.
Yes, but you mentioned that the money was paid there in front of the property. Did you proceed to the property after receiving the report from the...
I did.
Yebo ngiyengaya khona laphana ke kuleso sakhiwo njengoba sengishilo ke ukuthi imali iyatholakala khona laphayana endaweni isakhiwo.
Yes, what happened then on that occasion?
The couple moved into the house.
Yes.
Into the room.
Yes, but tell us about the payment. You say you made them in front of the gate.
I received payment from the gentleman.
Yes, just call him by the name. Remember to call
Mr.
him.
Mncube, sorry.
Yebo ngayithola ke imali ukuqhamuka kubaba uMncube phambilini bese eshilo ukuthi le couple okanye labantu abebehamba bobabini owomlisa noSimame ubaba uMncube ngamanye amazwi ke bese sebengena.
Yes.
Manje ke uthi ngayithola ke imali kubona.
Yes, how much was it?
1,600 thereabout.
Uthi khona lapho imali engayithola kubona kwaba 1,600 rand.
And for which month was this rental?
This rental was for January.
Thike kwakuyimali yerent kaJanuary.
You say the original agreement was that they will move in February of 2015.
Yes.
Yebo sengishilo lokho ukuthi savumela ukuthi bazongena ngoFebruary.
Did Mr. Ncube explain us why they wanted to move in the middle of January 2015?
He didn't specifically explain why, but he said they needed to move in.
Akazange nje aphani ngencazelo nje ikhethile ukuthi yingani ebefuna ukuthi angene okanye bangene ngoJanuary, kodwa ke wayevele egcizelele ukuthi bathanda ukungena khona lapha ngoJanuary.
Yes.
And they did move in.
Ngempela bangena ke ngoJanuary.
Yes, in which room did they move in?
They moved into what we call room 5, which is the room closest to the kitchen.
Bangena ke kulelo gumbi ke esingasho ukuthi room 5. Lelo gumbi ke liseduze ne kitchen.
Did they move in on that day on which they made, on which Mr. Ncube made payment for the rental, or was it on a subsequent day?
Because I didn't see the truck or things, I knew that they were meaning to come in immediately. I think they moved in the next day.
The next day.
Yeah, I think so.
Ngicabanga ukuthi bangena mhlambe ngosuku olulandelayo ngoba phela ke i-truck engasho mhlambe ukuthi yona i-truck ababeyisebenzisa ukuthi mhlambe bazama ukuyongena lapha na azange ngiyibone. Manje ngasho ukuthi bangena ke ngosuku olulandelayo.
Yes. Do you perhaps remember how Mr. Ncube looked like at that particular time?
Yes, I do. The only thing I remember in detail was the fact that he had dreadlocks.
Yebo ngiyakhumbula ke ukuthi ubaba uNcube ubebuke kanjani ngaleso sikhathi. Ngakhulukazi ke into ezikhethile ngiyikhumbula kahle ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi ke ubaba uNcube ube nama dreadlocks.
Yes, what makes you to remember this aspect in particular?
I was concerned about noise. There were two things I was concerned about: noise. The second one was the fact. The second one wasn't so much a concern. It actually it made me happy. Was that they were a couple, because the other people in the rooms were couples, and they didn't take kindly to a single male or a single female renting a room in the house.
Kanti ke kukhona nje izinto ezothu ezazimqoka kakhulu okanye ke ebengisuke ngikhathezeke ngazo. Okokuqala ukuthi ke umsindo, ngamanye amazwi ke uma umuntu ezongena kubhekwa leyo nto le umsindo, kanti okwesibini nokuthi abantu abebekhona khona lapha yana abaqashe lawo magumbi bekungabantu abahamba ke kungamakhapuli. Manje ngangijabuleleke leyo nto yokuthi laba babini nabo bayeza beza bebabini, akusena umuntu oyedwa ozofuna ke ilokho njalo indawo yokuhlala khona lapha yana. Ngaba umlisa ohamba yedwa okanye umuntu wesimame ohamba yedwa.
What do you mean?
Yeah, with no offense to Rastafarians, I thought maybe he was going to be making noise with guitar or something, but no offense meant.
Hayi gabi ngoba nje ngangicabanga ukuthi mhlambe uyirasta mhlambe bazokwenza ke mhlambe badlale umculo wabo adlale igitara into enjalo, kodwa ke angiqondile nje ukubi nje ngamarasta. Yilo yonto eyayenza ukuthi ngibe nokukhathazeka nje ngomsindo.
Yes, what happened after they had moved in?
They moved in, and that month went smoothly, and at the end of the month, like everybody else who was in the house, they paid their rent for February.
Bangena ke leyo nyanga ke yahamba kahle njenga wonke umuntu obeqashile khona lapha yana. Akuphela inyanga base ke bayakwazi ukubhadala njenga wonke umuntu.
Yes.
And then somewhere in the middle, towards the end of February, I was again informed by my caretaker.
Ona lapha yana ke emaphakathini ka February.
Yes.
ngaphinde futhi ke ngalethelwa ke mhlambe ulwazi oluthize okanye isibikezelo esasichumuka kuye lona ke owayinakekele isakhiwo lesiyana caretaker.
Yes, you received a report from your caretaker. You may not disclose the contents thereof.
That the
Yes.
tenant,
Yeah, you received a report from the caretaker. What happened further?
I received a report from a tenant, from a caretaker, that the tenant that had come in, recently come in, had been arrested.
Ngase ke ngithola leso sibikezelo esiqhamuka kuyi-caretaker ke ukuthi lo umqashi osanda ukufika useboshiwe.
In fact, he used the words he was taken out in chains. I have no
Yes.
proof of that.
Kanti ke anginaso ke isiqiniseko sokuthi waboshwa okanye ubeboshiwe ngoba into akushilo lokho akushilo nje wathi ukhishwe laphayana ke ngamaketana.
Yes, what the caretaker told you, it's hearsay. He made a report to you, then what happened?
Then the lady who was with the gentleman continued to stay.
Kanti ke lo wesimame obehlala naye nalomlisa yena waqhubeka ukuhlala khona lapho kulelo gumbi.
She didn't leave the same day as the gentleman. She continued to stay.
Ngamanye amazwi akazange aphume kulelo gumbi makuphuma lona ke womlisa yena waqhubeka ukuhlala khona lapho kulelo gumbi.
She stayed for, I think she paid the rent for at the end of, or somebody paid the rent at the end of February. I don't know.
Kanti ke uma kuphela inyanga kaFebruary kukhona wabhadala irent.
By that, I don't know the source of the money, but she paid.
Kodwa ke ngisho ukuthi ke angazi ukuthi ngubani owambhadalela engikwaziyo nje ukuthi yena wabhadala lo wesimanje.
You mentioned earlier on that you had to testify in a matter. Which matter was that? Without going into details.
Okay. At some point, police came to my property
Kukhona isikhathi lapho ke amaphoyisa afika khona laphana kwisakhiwo sami
and asked me to give evidence.
bangicela ke ukuthi mangizothula ke ubufakazi.
Yeah, which case was it?
It was the Alexander case.
Kanti ke lecala ke lalibayelana ke okanye leso sicelo sasimayelana necala lase Alexandra.
Thank you, my lord. That is all.
Yes, sir. Mr. Number, before you call, Mr. Ngobe, you can consult with your counsel now.
Don't you wish your phone was fun like this?
Don't you wish your phone could fit in here? Don't you?
Thanks for the indulgence, my lord.
Thanks. I know Mr. Ramos, Sepidi, maybe he's got some questions.
No questions.
No questions, huh? Okay. Yes.
As it is the court, my lord, I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding
Yeah.
that Mr. Ngube has.
Oh, okay.
I think need to take time to explain to him because his concerns about the fact that the gentleman came to testify in another case that he was facing. So I think I might need 5 or 10 minutes just to take him through what this exercise is all about. It's not a train smash there, my lord. I think he only needs to understand what is happening.
You understand to adjourn?
I would really appreciate it, my lord.
Okay, how many
That's
minutes?
just, I think it will be 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes.